What is up, nerds and gamers? I am Smatherini, also known as MPG Cinders of Hope, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck Showcase. I'm so happy. This is probably one of my favorite, if not my, no, not one of, this is my favorite deck. This is White Forest. I am so hyped to talk about this deck. I have been waiting to get at least really good with this. I have gotten third place, so I've at least hit a top 3 with this deck before, and I think now is the perfect time. So, real quick, I want to shout out a local card shop this is not like a sponsorship or anything, but I just want to shout out a local card shop that I go to all the time. So shout out to Dungeons and Javas over in Colorado Springs. I'm using one of their amazing playmats. It's got their dragon logo in the middle. I fucking love it. I picked this up. This is their non-zone printed playmat that is larger than a standard Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic playmat. And I absolutely love it. You can also use it as a computer mat. And they're really high quality too. I absolutely love it. This is going to be my mainstay playmat for a while. So, without further ado, and that shout out to those amazing people out of the way, let us get into this deck. We have 60 card main deck. We have a 15 card extra deck and a 15 card side deck. Now, real quick, before I fully get into this, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I have to project my voice a hell of a lot to make these Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos. So I'm going to gasp for air as I am talking, and you're going to hear it a lot. I know I do it in all of my videos, but that's just so I can project my voice properly. And I do apologize if it does weird you out. It is just something that I've gotten accustomed to doing, because I run out of breath. So we're going to start off with the main. Now, this is a double sleeve deck, so you're going to see me squeeze this to compress the air out of it, because no matter how hard I try, it just keeps reinflating, and I can't get it to stop. So you're going to see me grab the deck and squeeze it every once in a while in order to compress the air out of the card sleeves. Unfortunately, I cannot get there. I even use tweezers to slide it down in there to reduce the amount of air that gets into the main inner sleeve, and I don't know what to do about it. So if you got a solution to my issue, could you please post it in the comments? That'd be greatly appreciated. But let's get started with LZ of the White Forest. LZ of the White Forest has the wonderful effect that you can send one spell or trap card from the hand to the graveyard. Special summoner from the hand, then immediately on summon. This is all one effect, so this does make you weak to Ash Blossom. Unfortunately, you can search a White Forest monster. You can either add your Stellar, you can add Sylvie, you can add Rusia. Hell, you could even add Diabelle's the White Witch from deck to hand, because she's always treated as a White Forest card. So, she is probably going to be your strongest starter. Her other effect is that if she is in your graveyard during your opponent's turn, if a spell or trap card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect, she can add herself to your hand. So, that's LZ. She is currently the strongest starter. The other strongest, I would say, especially if you're playing playing off of Witch of the White Forest, is a Stellar of the White Forest. Stellar of the White Forest, if she's already on field, so she does use your normal summon. However, you can special summon a White Forest monster from your deck to your hand by sending a spell and trap card to the graveyard. If she's in your graveyard, at any point, this is not a quick effect, it is just a when effect. If a spell or trap card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect, she special summons herself back from the grave, which is awesome. Either you're playing into Deception off of that, or you're going to immediately use her as synchro material. Either way, that is going to be perfect for your massive plays, especially under cards like Witch of the White Forest, where your board's definitely going to be weaker without access to dark monsters. Next, we have Elzet Azumina of the White Forest. She has the effect to summon an Azumina to do a fusion summon with cards on your field. However, her main effect is that you can reveal her from your hand, special summon any White Forest monster. That includes herself. Then, if she's used a synchro material, she can search a Sinful Spoils. So, that is amazing because that gets you into Deception. If Snake Eyes, original Sinful Spoils Snake Eyes was playable, you'd have a bridge into the Snake Eyes engine. This deck would be immediate tier 0, and it would get hit so fast. However, this is a good, solid road deck for the current post-Doom of Dimensions format. So, once again, one of the strongest bridges between archetypes and just a good way of getting into your Azamina cards. Next, we're going to talk about Sylvie of the White Forest. If she is normal or special summon, she adds a White Forest card from your deck to your hand. White Forest spell or trap from your deck to your hand. My apologies. Then you can, same with Rusia here as well, you can shuffle back any White Forest Synchro monster from your graveyard to the extra deck. Then you can special summon her to the field but negate her effects. Next, we have Rusia. If you control a White Forest monster, you can special summon her to the field from your hand. Then you can send one spell or trap to the graveyard in order to not search. It's not a search. It's a draw one. You get to draw one card. Once again, has the exact same effect to shuffle back a White Forest monster and special summon herself, but her effects are negated. Next, if you played Snake Eyes format, you know her, you might love her, you might hate her. Diabellstar the Black Witch. She can special summon herself by sending one card from your hand to the graveyard. Then she can set a Sinful Spoils from your deck to your hand. Oh wait, isn't it all? Is this one effect? Once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, yeah. And then if she is sent to the graveyard during your opponent's turn, she can special summon herself back by sending a card from the field or hand to the graveyard. Next, we have Diabell's the White Witch. She is always treated as a White Forest card, meaning she's always treated as a White Forest monster. Diabell's the White Witch can protect all of your monsters as long as you control another Diabell monster. You have to control at least 2. This includes herself because she has the title Diabell in her name. Now, you special summon her by sending a spell or trap from your hand or field to the graveyard. And then she dumps a Diabell or Sinful Spoils card to the graveyard. Either that be your Diabellstar Vengeance, Curse of Diabell, Philia Diabell, or hell, any other Sinful Spoils card you can dump to the graveyard if you need it there. Next, we have Diabellstar Vengeance. She is always treated as a Sinful Spoils card. You can banish one spell and trap from your graveyard, then special summon her to the field. You can then pay half your life points, target and then destroy a card. If you control another monster with Diabell in its name, you can then cheat out a Tuner Synchro monster from your extra deck. So that's a destruction, that's a Tuner cheat out, and if you're cheating out a certain Tuner monster, that is an immediate Synchro summon into another powerful monster. We'll get into that later. Next, we have Queen Azamina. Always treated as a Sinful Spoils. She can special summon herself back from the graveyard if she is sent there off of a card effect. And then when your Azamina or White Forest monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can target one Sinful Spoils spell or trap in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Oh, okay. You don't really use that effect, but she is a recyclable Sinful Spoils, which is one of the best ways that you can easily play her. Next, let's get into one of the sub-archetypes that we're playing. We are playing Toy Box. One fun thing about Toy Box is that they can both set themselves to the spell and trap zone. If they are both destroyed while they are in the spell and trap zone, they go ahead and special summon themselves to the field. Then they have their own unique effects. Starting off with Toy Soldier. When Toy Soldier is special summoned normal or special summoned, you can search a Toy Box spell card, or if you already control the Toy Box continuous spell, you can go ahead and add a level 4 light monster, meaning that this is a combo starter. You want your Sylvie off of this effect. Next, you have Toy Tank. When you can special summon Tank back to the field, then you contribute your Toy Tank to special summon a level 6 monster from your hand, or if you control the Toy Box continuous spell, you special summon it from your graveyard instead. Or you can special summon it from your graveyard. Like I said, level 6 or lower. Very, very powerful cards right here. I'll talk about the continuous spell, which it just says Toy Box spell card. I'm clarifying that is a continuous spell. Next, we have Kashtiras. Yes, both Kashtiras have the ability to special summon themselves if you do not control any monsters. Then, Kashtira Unicorn special summon when special summoned, or not when. Oh, the other gimmick is that they can both banish a card from either the field or from the extra deck when you either declare an attack with them or when your opponent activates a monster effect. So, Unicorn searches a spell card. Kashtira Fenrir searches a monster. This one banishes from the extra deck. This one banishes from field. So we've got both Unicorn and Fenrir in the deck. We are also, I'll get into the other Kashtira cards I'm playing in just a minute. But first, we've got 2 Moltermi Fuelos. You can draw a card for every time your opponent special summons from the extra deck or main deck. Then you can only keep up to 6 cards more than what your opponent currently controls on the field. So if your opponent controls 5 cards, you can have 11 cards in hand. If you have over, you shuffle back until you have 6 more than what your opponent currently controls. So that is all the monsters. I absolutely love this deck, and all the monsters are one of the most powerful parts of the deck. The other parts, and one thing I was going to wait until I got to the spells and traps, especially the generic section, but I'll talk about it now while I pack these cards up, is that White Forest is a massive toolbox of cards. It is one deck that you can really use as much basic support utility or generic support utility as possible to make the deck even more powerful than it currently is at its base state. So running as many generic spells and traps as you can is very much encouraged. You can even set up this deck with Runic, and it's an insanely good deck. Well, maybe not this current format, but you can definitely play it with Runic and be very annoying. So, we've got, starting off with Tales of the White Forest, if you control an illusion or spellcaster monster, you can add 1 White Forest monster from your deck to your hand. Now, some of the Sinful Spoils and some of the White Forest and all the White Forest cards have the gimmick that they can reset themselves from the graveyard if they are sent to activate a monster effect. Want to mention that now so I don't have to say it with every single card. But that is Tales of the White Forest. Next, we have Susurrus. You target 1 illusion or spellcaster you control. Return it to the hand, hand or extra deck. Then special summon 1 from your graveyard, illusion or spellcaster from your graveyard. Then has the same reset from graveyard effect. So, Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. If you control an illusion or spellcaster, you can either special summon a fiend, illusion, or spellcaster from your hand, or fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters in your hand or on the field. Next, Witch of the White Forest. Witch of the White Forest is a really, really interesting field spell. It locks you out of darks on let's just start with the effect, shall we? On activation, it locks you out of dark monsters. However, you do get to search a White Forest card. It's specifically, when this card is activated, you can add a White Forest monster from your deck to your hand, but you cannot special summon dark monsters from your extra deck. It has the same effect as Trap Trip Garden, where if one of your White Forest monsters would be destroyed by, Trap Trick, except Trap Trip Garden is for Trap Tricks. If one of your White Forest monsters would be destroyed by battle each turn, it is protected from destruction once. So you can just redeclare and attack over the monster again. Then you can convert one of your White Forest monsters to a tuner, and yeah, that is the whole effect of Witch of the White Forest. Pretend that there's a third copy. There's supposed to be a third copy in the deck. However, I am running Azamina Debitor till I can get the card I ordered from TCG Player. It should be here in the next couple of days, hopefully. Next, we have Philia Diabell. Philia Diabell allows you to search a level 8 or higher Diabell monster, meaning Diabells or... Oh, I forgot to mention the Diabell Star's a starter in this deck. I'll talk about the Diabell Star starter in a minute. Yeah, you add a level 8 or higher Diabell monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is banished, all of your Diabell monsters gain 500 attack. This is a permanent effect. So, and I'll get into it when I start comboing off. I'll explain how you get to that effect, because it's a very common thing, especially with this build. Now then, since I forgot to mention it when I was talking about Diabell Star the Black Witch, let's talk about Diabell Star being a starter. Because I'm running Toy Box and one other card in the extra deck that I'll get to in a minute, Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils and Diabell Star the Black Witch become 1-card starters. So, Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils, you can add 1 Diabell Star monster from your deck or graveyard to the hand. Then during your main phase, you can banish this card to play. Then you target another Sinful Spoils in your graveyard, place it on the bottom of your deck, draw a card. So, once again, that's Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils. Deception of the Sinful Spoils. You contribute 1 card in your hand or on field to go ahead and add an Azamina spell or trap from your deck to your, or Azamina card from your deck to your hand. Then, if you control an Azamina monster and your opponent sends a monster to the graveyard, you can make your opponent take 1,500 damage, and then gain 1,500 life. You have, like I said, you have to control an Azamina. Then, if this card is sent face up to the graveyard from the spell and trap zone, you can reset it during the end phase. I think I said that weirdly. If it's face up down here in the spell and trap zone, it goes to the graveyard. You can reset it during the end phase. It resets face down, though. Hollowed Azamina. Fusion summon an Azamina monster from the extra deck for every... reveal, then fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck. And for every 4 levels, you round down, send a Sinful Spoils to the graveyard. So you're using your Sinful Spoils as a material. Say I need 1 Sinful Spoils card, so I can summon a level 6. Or if I need 2, I can summon a level... If I use 2, I can summon anything between like a level 11 and whatnot. Level 8 and level 11, something like that. Then, if this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle back 1 Azamina monster that's either on the field or in the grave and add it back to your hand. Do note that the first effect to fusion summon is not once per turn. So, you shuffle back your Elzad Azamina, and then you go ahead and you summon out another Azamina monster. So, I'll show you that, but only the bottom part of the text where it you shuffle 1 back and then add it from your deck to your hand is once per turn. Next, we have Debitors. It's literally Hallowed Azamina, but it's a quick play. Oh, except during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, take an Azamina monster in your graveyard, special summon. Okay. Other than being able to special summon back an Azamina monster, it is literally just Hallowed. It is just Hallowed's fusion summon again. All right. So here's the Toy Box Continuous spell, which I actually learned an effect that it actually has. So we're running 3 Toy Box. I keep reading to say how many numbers of cards we're running. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send 1 face-down card you control to the graveyard. Destroy that opponent's monster. Once per turn, you can activate 1 of these effects. From your hand or deck... from your hand, deck, or face-up monster zone, or graveyard. Good lord. Anyway. Choose up to 2 monsters with toy in their original names. You can set themselves as from the hand. What? From the hand as a spell, then and set them as spell traps. What? Okay. Anyway, you can set the toy box monsters from the hand deck or whatever to the field as spell cards, and then this blows up 2 spell cards in the spell trap zone. You can only activate one of those 2 bottom effects. All right, so now we get into the rest of Kashtiras real quick. Kashtira Birth. Kashtira Birth, you can special summon you can normal summon level 7 monsters, which is fucking overpowered. Without tributing. During the main phase, you can special summon 1 non-Xyz Kashtira monster from banished or graveyard. If you control a Kashtira monster, and your opponent activates a spell. Oh, if your opponent activates a spell card and you control a Kashtira monster, you can banish up to 3 cards from their graveyard face down. So yeah, Kashtira is banished shit face down, so making it a very, very annoying engine to play against. And that's the whole point, is it's either there to give you a massive advantage, or if your opponent activates something like Droll, you can immediately punish them for the fact that they did by taking their best monster and putting it face down. Permanently. Pressured Planet Rethskoth. When this card is activated, you add a Kashtira monster from your deck to your hand. And then monsters you control gain 100 attack for each different attribute you control. And then if a Kashtira... Oh, and then I don't run the other Kashtira card to proc the rest of this card's effect. So, doesn't matter. All right, so that's like engine core. Let's get into the generic support section, which... Yeah. The generic support is bigger than all of the cards that I'm needing for the actual stuff. Starting by Call by the Grave, negate. If a card is in your opponent's graveyard, you can negate and banish it. And cards with that exact name can't be activated for the rest of the turn. So this is one of your Droll stoppers. Next, we have Triple Tactics Talent. Triple Tactics Talent's really fun. If your opponent has activated a monster effect during your main phase, you can either draw 2 cards, take control of a monster they control, or look at your opponent's hand and shuffle back one of those cards, meaning you could probably shuffle back a starter or something. Depending on the deck. If it's Yummy, they're probably just going to draw another one. Forbidden Droplet. This one is a lovely, lovely card. I love playing Forbidden Droplet. Send any number of cards from your hand or field to the graveyard. Choose as many effect monsters as your opponent controls. Till the end of the turn, their attack is halved. Also, their effects are negated. In response to this card's activation, your opponent cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the same original type monster, spell, or trap as the cards sent to the graveyard. So if you send like a spell, a trap, and a monster to the graveyard, your opponent just cannot respond to this card. However, that almost never happens. However, it is also insanely good to just be able to have like spare cards in your hand and then you just send it to negate. It's really fun. Sales Ban. Sales Ban's a really interesting card, but this is another Droll stopper. So you can declare the name of 1 card. Your opponent for the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate that card. However, this is on your turn, by the way. This is only on your turn. However, for the rest of the turn, for the rest of the duel, you cannot activate that card as well. So essentially, if you call the name Droll and Lockbird, your opponent can't activate it for the turn. You can't use it for the rest of the duel. However, Droll sits in your side deck. So. And it's mostly going to be a lot stronger to play Sales Ban over Droll anyway. Next, we're going to get to Ultimate Slayer. So one thing about White Forest is you're running a lot of Synchro and Fusion monsters. However, you're not going to use all of them, so Ultimate Slayer could be really good for breaking boards. Ultimate Slayer states, if your opponent cannot activate effects in the response to this card's activation... Okay, I missed that part when I first read the card. Send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. Target 1 monster your opponent controls with the exact same type. Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, or Link. shuffle it into the deck. So, oh, it doesn't destroy it, shuffles back. So either way, it breaks boards. So, oh, you've got Mirror Jade Dragon? Not anymore. Next, we have Triple Tactics Thrust. If your opponent activates a card effect during your turn, you can take any normal spell or trap, either set them, or if your opponent controls a monster, you can go ahead and add it to your hand. This can be a really good play, especially if you're playing evenly matched in the main, because then you could immediately just talent, Triple Tactics Talent, no, that's Triple Tactics Thrust, go immediately, evenly matched, go battle, end of battle, evenly, and that might be a scoop. All right, time to get into in-archetype traps. And starting off with Wills of the White Forest, this you special summon a White Forest monster then from your hand or deck, then immediately Synchro Summon. When White Forest Synchro Monster, if this card is sent to the graveyard, it has the ability to reset itself, just like the other ones. Curse of Diabell, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can search a card that mentions Diabell. I think it's a Diabell spell or trap, right? You can add one Diabell spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Okay. And then if you control 2 or more Diabell monsters, send one monster you control to the graveyard, destroy all face-up cards your opponent controls. You're never going to use that first effect. I promise you that never, ever has come up for me. Because this is always in my graveyard, and then immediately banished off of Diabell Star Vengeance in order to... So you banish your Philia and your Curse in order to summon Vengeance. Some people don't even run these two. However, I find they're pretty strong. This is just Book of Moon. If you control a level 5 or higher illusion, it resets itself. It's also a Sinful Spoils, but Sinful Spoils Slumber Morion. Black Goat Laughs. The last bit of generic support, and one of the... in the main deck at least, and one of the most evil fucking cards on the planet. Let me tell you this right now. Black Goat Laughs can easily cripple somebody's deck if they can't summon a card from the graveyard. Because the card states, declare one monster card name. This turn, neither player can special summon monsters with that original name except from the graveyard. And then you can banish the card from the graveyard, declare one monster card name, and then neither player can use the effects. So that's the Black Goat Laughs. This card is just evil. I love Black Goat Laughs with a I love this card so much. I can easily cripple decks like Blue Eyes, or hell, Draco Tail just can't summon their Arthelion, so it's even better. And if it's in my graveyard, I can literally just banish it and call Phimena, and they can't do anything. It's great. So, that is the main deck. Yeah, we'll go extra deck really quick. And yes, I know this deck's massive and this video is going to be really long. I'm hoping it's like that so I can go really extensively into this one. Yeah, like I said, pretend that there's 2 of these. Not like it's going to matter. I'm just going to show you loaded hands so I can show you what I can and cannot do. Compress the air out of my deck. Alright, that's the main deck. Onto the extra. Once again, 15 card extra. It's double sleeved, so I gotta push all the air out of it real quick. Starting off with Poplar the White Forest. This was one of the cards that I said you could summon off of Diabell Star Vengeance, and it's probably your strongest summon. And, ready for this? If this card is special summoned, you can target 2 White Forest monsters in your graveyard. Place them face up in their owner's spell and trap zone as continuous spells. During your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect immediately after this card effect resolves, synchro summon using this card. It is just on your opponent's turn, quick effect synchro, make fucking Vengeance Dragon. Or Jurishin, or Psychic End Punisher. Either way, it's going to be one of the most gnarly fucking plays. So Poplar is a lot stronger than you think. Now, this one, I'm really iffy on whether I want to keep. However, it is pretty good under Witch. But this is Herald of the Arclight. Herald of the Arclight is a powerful card. If you've played against Yummy, you've definitely seen it. It's an Omni-Negate, it's a Floodgate, and it's a Ritual Search. So if they're playing the Mitsurugi package, it immediately gets them cards if it's sent to the graveyard. But any monster sent from the hand or main deck to the graveyard is banished instead. When a spell trap card or monster effect is activated, quick effect, you contribute this card and negate the effect. So it's just a tribute to negate. And then if it hits the graveyard, you can search like a ritual spell and a ritual monster. Don't care, we're not playing Mitsurugi in this, so whatever. Next, we have Racelia, Sinister Soul of the White Forest. Racelia is probably the well, no, not the strongest synchro monster. There's stronger ones. She is your best tuner synchro starter here. When she is special summoned, you can send one White Forest spell or trap. Is it White Forest spell or trap? No, you just send a spell or trap from the hand or field to the graveyard. Then you can search a White Forest card or White Forest card or light spellcaster monster. Okay, I am reading that right. And then all of your synchro monsters. Is it White Forest synchro monsters? All your illusion and spellcaster synchro monsters gain 500 deck. They also can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Okay. She's never on the field for that effect. However, that is also really good. Silvera, Wolf Tamer of the White Forest. Silvera is really good because you can Book of Moon your opponent's entire board on special summon. Then your Synchro Monster, White Forest Synchro, Illusion and Spellcaster Synchro Monsters, so essentially just White Forest Synchro Monsters, you control, gain 500 attack, and they do double piercing damage to, or they just do, is it just? And they attack you do double piercing damage to defense position monsters. Yeah, no, that card's really overpowered. Next, Coral Dragon. I think it's just to destroy. You can discard one card, target one card your opponent controls, and destroy it. If the synchro monster is summoned. If this synchro summoned monster is sent from the fields of the graveyard, you can draw one card. Okay. It's also an extender, but it's just more interaction. If you can't tell already, White Forest is an interaction hell for your opponent. Diabelle, Queen of the White Forest. Diabelle, she can return one spell or trap. Any spell or trap. Remember that, because that shit's going to get wild. Real fast. Meaning, yes, you can return Black Goat. You can send Black Goat Laughs off of an effect. Return a Black Goat Laughs. That you can send, you can send like Skill Drain and return your Skill Drain to the hand. Yeah, it's literally any spell or trap to the graveyard, and then you on special summon she returns a spell or trap from the hand to the graveyard from the graveyard to the hand. And then if your opponent activates a monster effect at any point, send a card from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard. Then immediately you can cheat out a tuner synchro monster that is level 6 or lower. Fun fact, cheating this one out on your opponent's turn after triggering her effect is hilarious. Alright, Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is great in this deck, especially because you can summon a level 6 Dark and a level 4 Light and proc both effects. So, Chaos Angel banishes a card. Any card on the field on special summon, that's not really a thing you want. But, depending on if you use a Light or Dark monster... Yeah, I'll just finish the... using a Light and Dark monster gives it different effects. Also, you can convert either a Light or Dark monster to a tuner in order to summon this thing if you don't have one on field. That was the effect I was supposed to mention. So if you use a Light monster You can all synchro summon or synchro monsters you control are unaffected by monster effects activated by your opponent. If you use a dark monster, monsters you control can't be destroyed by battle. If you use both a light and a dark, both effects proc, and you could turtle strat behind a Chaos Angel in defense position and ruin people's day. It's fucking hilarious. Because your opponent cannot get over a Chaos Angel that is 2800 that can't be destroyed by battle. Now, I've been hyping this guy up. This is Psychic End Punisher. Psychic End Punisher is, by all means, insane. If you have lower or equal life points to your opponents, this card becomes while your opponents are less than or equal to your opponent's, this synchro summon monster is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, target a monster you control, and target a monster your opponent controls, banish them. Oh, that's something I didn't know. And then at the start of the battle phase, you can make this card gain attack equal to the difference between your life points and your opponent's. So fun fact, if I'm in a grind game and I can summon this thing and I've used Diabellstar Vengeance's effect to pay half my life points more than once, I'm killing you in one blow. And it's fucking great. This card is insane. Cool. Yeah, sorry, family's texting me. Then, Jurshin, the Cursed Thunder God. This is another level 11 synchro monster. So, each time your opponent activates a card effect, you gain 300 life points. Yes, you could literally sit here and gain more life points than your opponent can deal damage. However, you can pay 1,500 when the card resolves. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can pay 1,500 life points and tribute this card, which is a little overkill. And destroy, you can Lightning Storm, it's essentially Lightning Storm and a monster card. Either Lightning Storm all face-up monsters your opponent controls, or just Lightning Storm all face-up spells and traps. So, if you need to break boards, then start breaking boards, because I'm telling you, Jurshin can easily get you a win if you know what you're doing. Just don't do it against the graveyard-focused deck like Yubel, because, well, again, destroying Yubel cards is not a smart idea anyway. Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon. This one's really fun to summon off of Poplar's effect. So, Vengeance Dragon allows you to quick effect set a monster that your opponent controls in the spell, or it's any monster. You can set it in the spell and trap zone. You can't activate that the next turn, however. So, once you activate it once, one turn, you have to wait a turn before you can use it again. Then you can target one face-up card that you control, one of your face-up card your opponent controls, destroy them both. Next, Magistus Chorizo. So I keep hyping up one mysterious card that's really good with Diabellstar and Toy Box. This is it. This is that card. Let me tell you, it is a tuner. It is a contact fusion. And that is why it's so good. Let me explain. Must be first either fusion summoned or special summoned from the extra deck by sending the correct fusion material cards you control to the graveyard. So, all you need is a fusion, synchro, any extra deck monster, right? Fusion, synchro, exceed, and link. Yeah, so any, and a spellcaster. I wonder what happens when I fusion summon Reselia Lago. That's exactly what you're gonna do. You're gonna summon Reselia Lago. And then immediately after this, you're gonna just go ahead and fucking contact fuse. Well, you get her search, because her search is actually very important. But that's Chorizo. You can also like destroy a card, or no, you like shuffle. You target then shuffle a card back, but this card's never on the field for that. It's once again, it's part of a combo line. Azamina Mu Reselia Lago. If she's destroyed, she adds a Sinful Spoils. I think Sylvie shares the exact same effect. Yeah, Sylvie shares the same effect. Oh, this one adds a spell. She adds a trap. There. Azamina Mu Recelia Lago. Monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack for every Azamina monster you control. She's never in the field. Don't mind that. You can only use each effect, following effects of her once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can add one Azamina or Sinful Spoils card from your deck to your hand. Then you can add a Sinful Spoils back from your graveyard or some shit. If she's destroyed, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add one Sinful Spoils spell from your deck to your hand. Okay. Azamina Ilia Sylvia. This is just a non-negate. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Any battle damage your Azamina monsters, any damage your Azamina monsters except her inflict is doubled. You can only use each of the following effects of Azamina Ilia Sylvia once per turn. During the when your opponent activates card effect, quick effect, you can tribute this card to negate the effect. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add one Sinful Spoils trap from your deck to your hand. So, yeah, she's a quick effect on negate. It's insane. All right, Moiraina. Moiraina is another really strong card. If you activate a Sinful Spoils or Azamina card effect while she's on the field, you can target up to two cards on your opponent's field and blow them up. It's amazing. Also, she can not on summon, but she can cheat out an illusion monster from your graveyard. Now, Saint Azamina, the second floodgate you can summon from your extra deck besides Herald of Arclight. Saint Azamina, your opponent cannot target cards on their field, graveyard, or it says in their field, graveyard, or banishment, or this card with card effects. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken. If this card was fusion summoned this turn, quick effect, you can special summon one level 9 or lower Azamina monster from your deck or extra deck. You can only use the effect of Saint Azamina once per turn. So yeah, so she is Lingering Floodgate, Yubel, and she's Nightmare Pain, and fucking a cheat out for either Moiraina or Sylvia, all in one card. I'm telling you, dude, if you want to cripple Branded, Draco Tail, or even Canine, and hell, even Yummy, play her. I promise you, it's going to fucking suck for your opponent. Any deck that needs either their graveyard, field... Oh, and because I know Malice is on the rise again, for some fucking reason we can't get rid of that deck, this cripples Malice like no other. Let me tell you something. I was playing Snake Eyes at the start of Malice format because it was the only deck I had. I summoned a Saint and my opponent could not fucking do anything. He's just like, well, I can't do anything and I can't get rid of it. Like, however, if your opponent can use a Kaiju, your opponent can use like a Kaiju or something and get rid of it, or non-target destruction. Mirror J Dragon sucks ass. Anyway, but yeah, so essentially she's only weak to very specific non-targeting things, which in this day and age aren't very common. But that is the extra deck. Look, I hype up this deck a lot because I fucking love this deck. This thing is insane. Alright, on to the side deck. Droll Lockbird, the card that can fucking murder this deck because 90% of your starters search. So as soon as you search Droll Lockbird, your turn's over. Unless you have Kashtira, your turn is fucking over. However, Droll and Lockbird, if cards are added from the main deck to the hand, or to your opponent's hand, except during the draw phase, quick effect, you can send this card to the graveyard, hand to the graveyard, and for the rest of the turn, cards cannot be added from either player's hand. Yeah, it's a fucking floodgate. It's a floodgate disguised as a hand trap. It's a lingering floodgate that is locked at 3. and you basically pay zero cost. And unless your opponent has Salesman or Called by the Grave, there's no way in hell you're playing through it. Watch, Salesman's going to get limited on the next ban list. Watch, because Konami hates when people have any sort of counterplay to cards like this. Next, Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. This is really just for Draco Tail and branded. It's Ash Blossom, but themed around the graveyard. So, when a card effect that includes any of these effects, quick effect, you can discard this to negate the activation. Add a card from the graveyard to the hand, deck, or extra deck. Special summon a monster from the graveyard. Banish a card from the graveyard. So, very powerful shit. Harpy's Feather Duster. You see your opponent's back row? No, you don't. You just blow up all the cards in their back row. That's literally it. All spells and traps gone. Dark Ruler no more. This card definitely needs to be at 1, and it sucks. Anyway, to play again. You cannot respond to this card with monster effects. Negate all the effects of face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. Also, for the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, your opponent takes no battle damage. Neither player can activate monster effects in response to this card. Bullshit. It's bullshit. And it's also playable off of Triple Tactics Thrust, which is the worst part. No. You heard me correctly. It's playable off of Thrust. Because it's a normal spell. Subversion, Sinful Spoils of Subversion Snake Eye. Target one monster on the field, place it in the spell and trap zone. Whole ass effect. It's one. The rest of the line is it can only activate once per turn. Evenly Matched. This card is also bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit cards you can play in this deck. It's fucking funny. At the end of the battle phase, if your opponent controls more cards than you do, you can make your opponent banish cards from their field face down, so they control the same number of cards as you. So if you control no cards, this counts as controlling one card after activation. Also, if you control no cards, you can activate this card from the hand. Anti-Spell Fragrance. Both players must set spell cards before activating them and cannot activate them until their next turn after setting them. So that is another lingering floodgate that you can play in this deck. Do you notice a pattern of just kind of fuck you, I play floodgates yet? Because I sure as hell do. This deck's insane. So I'm going to show you some combos. Once again, simple 15-card deck. I'm only running these because they are really good against Yummy and other combo decks. And because I kind of want to be on a fair playing field until the card gets either limited or banned. If it gets limited, I don't care. I'll change out stuff in my side deck. Another thing you can also do is if you're not running ghost spells, some people actually run Prohibition. I've seen some builds with Prohibition in the side deck. Wouldn't 100% recommend it, but you can do that if you want. Here we go. Let's shuffle up. I'm going to shuffle my deck real quick, and then I'm actually going to just go ahead and... here, let me see. What was that message? Oh. Oh. Nothing, never mind. Work Discord. Oh god, I gotta work on the weekend. Yeah, I have a job. So I gotta go suffer and do that later, but that's not today, thankfully. That's on Saturday and Sunday, thankfully. So I gotta get up at like 5 so I can feed my dogs on time, right? Now we get up about 5:30, take a shower, and then I have like from 6:30 and whatnot. Or no, then I can have from like 6 or something. Anyway, I'll cut my deck real quick. So I'm going to show you some basic combos. So yeah, this video is going to get even longer. Start with Elza. I'm going to go through just kind of the bigger ones that you can play. So this one, can I just like toss out some cards here? So this one, you kind of just need Elzette and a handful of spell cards. Here, I'll throw on the Kashtira's just so you can see what that looks like too. All right, so you got your hand. You drew a majority of spells and an Elzette. So here's how you play this. Start, if you have your any of your Kashtira starters, go ahead, play them. They are there to bait interaction. So from there, I'm going to attempt to search. I'm going to search on this play, you want your unicorn. Some people play Fenrir, but Fenrir's going, oh, that's why you keep Fenrir. Then you special summon, because you control no other monsters. From here, you can attempt to search. This is where you bait the interaction. So if your opponent activates something like Ash Blossom on the search, then immediately trigger that shit and rifle through their extra deck and just ruin their day. If they do not ash you on activation of Unicorn or activate any other card to negate, yes, this, oh, no, if Infinite Impermanence is activated, you're just kind of SOL. I swear I've skimmed over this card like 6 times now. Where is Birth? There it is, Kashtira Birth. This is either just another spell to discard, or maybe if you get stopped somewhere else, you can summon back Kashtira. Oh, real quick, before you do literally any of this, since you have a Sales Band in hand, you call Droll and Lockbird, you are free to play. So we're going to imagine I did that first. So Sales Band, call Droll. Elzette, send for cost. Summon, tempt, search. From here, search your Sylvie. Normal summon Sylvie, trigger her effect to search. Again. Also, I have this weird phenomenon that sometimes, like, I'm comboing off and it's like, oh, well, why are all the cards I actually need on the bottom of my deck? This feels really weird. I don't know. Like, it happens every once in a while. It never happens all the time. It's just, like, once in a while, it's like, this feels real, because then I have to sit there and go, well, now my opponent thinks I'm fucking cheating. Because all the fucking cards I need are on the bottom of my deck. I'm like, well, fuck me. I'm just trying to play Yu-Gi-Oh, man. Then you summon you synchro summon using those two. You summon Recelia, Sinister Soul. You send Tails for cost. You'll see in just a second. Hold your horses. From there, you're going to search your Elzaz Amina. All right. You're going to have trigger. This resets to the field. Reveal, summon herself, synchro again. Okay, so this is where you can chain block. So this is what you're actually going to want. You're going to want chain block so that way you can stop your opponent from you can prevent your opponent from stopping your search. So watch. You chain 1 Elzette, chain 2 targets Forbidden Droplet. So you get your Forbidden Droplet back from grave. Then you use her effect to search a Sinful Spoils. This is exactly how you want to play it. So then you get your Deception. From here, I'll show you what to do. Deception, activate your Deception, declare the effect, pop your Kashtira. At this point, you do not need to keep your Kashtira. Don't try and hold on to it. That's one of the biggest things I learned is don't try and hold on to a Kashtira. Literally just go straight for your Sinful Spoil or your Azami. Go for your Hollowed. Check your hand. As you can see, there's no... Oh, shit. I was supposed to have another Sinful... There was supposed to be another Sinful Spoils in this hand. That's actually not very good. Okay, I'll actually show you a different one. The only difference is you're not going to summon Ilya Sylvia by fusion summoning using Witch of the White Forest. Or no, not Witch of the White Forest. Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. You're going to do something a little different. And I'll show you in a minute. Hallowed Azamina. Hallowed is going to summon Lago. Then she searches. So this is actually another line that I can show you. Oh, this actually allows me to like show you a quick effect chain that I... So one thing that you can do is you can chain certain like quick play cards to activation. So watch this. Another chain block. Hallowed, declare effect, quick effect of Sylvie. So once again, I just chain blocked. So you shuffle her back, and we'll shuffle her back too. So you shuffle back your Synchro Monster. Now, if your opponent hasn't scooped by this point, you do this. She summons back to the field. Once again, her effects are negated. Either way, they're both once per turn. Then, since we did not do this right, and I didn't add another Sinful Spoils to my hand, we're gonna Synchro Summon to make Chaos Angel. And since we used both a light and a dark, both effects trigger, meaning that all my Synchro Monsters are now protected, and all my monsters can't be destroyed by battle. This is really, really strong. Hallowed Azamina, quick effect chain. Wanted. Wanted's going to search you a Diabellstar monster. Pay very close attention to which one. Vengeance. Vengeance is a Sinful Spoil. You now have 2 Sinful Spoils as material. Summon Saint. Saint, quick effect, trigger to cheat out to fumble the card face down. Cheat out Ilya Sylvia, so that way you have your Omni Negate. We following so far, class? Good, good. From here, we go Saint, not Saint. We flip this up and effect to search. This is one of the easiest lines to do. You summon Diabell, you add Diabells from deck to hand. Diabell's effects, since we didn't have to thrust this turn, we can go ahead and do that. Then we're going to dump this. We're going to dump Curse. Curse then searches Philia Diabell. Now, because Diabellstar Vengeance is already in our graveyard, one thing we can do is we can banish both of these to summon her from the grave, which I think I forgot to mention, that she can summon from either your hand or your graveyard. By banishing these, then Philia procs, since it was banished, you can go ahead and give all of your Diabell monsters, so Diabell, 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 500 attack permanently. And they're all getting 100 attack for each different attribute, so that's currently, they're getting 200 extra attack. Set 2, end phase. I've gotten better at doing this in the end phase now. Set Deception of the Sinful Spoils. And just like that, this board now has protection, destruction protection from battle and card effects. You have a tuner, you have a negate, a floodgate with another negate, Sinful Spoil. You have card removal, and this is going to be hell. And on the follow-up, you immediately, assuming your opponent does not scoop off of playing this shit against this shit, they are going to suffer the consequences because the next turn is game. And you could technically take it a step further. One thing I also like doing is if I real quick don't set Kashtira Birth and Deception is still engraved, one thing I can try and do, and I'll see if I can pull this off. Here's if I don't have any other Sinful Spoils. Okay, so we're going to banish this to place... Instead, we're going to place Deception on the bottom of the deck. Let's see if I can actually do this right. There's one card I need to draw. Either way, you get an extender. And I'll if I don't draw it, I'll just go ahead and show you either way. And this is another play that you can also make, so watch. So you want your droplet set on the field, obviously. So you do your shuffle up, you do this. Please let me draw this card. Please, 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 please. Fuck. Okay. I almost always draw her off of that. Why the fuck do I always draw you off of this? Okay, so the card you're actually trying to draw by... which is funny because I'm running 3 copies of this card in the deck now. The card you're actually trying to get is your toy box. So I'll show you, since I accidentally drew her, we'll go ahead and show you this play instead. Oh, is Deception still on the bottom? Yes, okay. So from here, you activate your toy box. Your toy box is going to set your tank and soldier. Meaning that you now have, so that's set, yes, they set face down as spell cards. That's really, which is really cool. From here, you now have you have 2 extra spells that you can play off of for Diabell and other card effects, which I think is really cool. Then you can also activate Cashier Birth for whatever it's worth. I mean, worst comes to worst, you don't get to cheat out your Tuner Synchro monster because it gets negated. Then you could just cheat out Kashtira and ruin people's lives from there. So this is a solid board. The only thing that would be different is instead, if I was able to fusion summon her, is that I'd have Moa Reina. The other variation is that because she's a Sinful Spoils, you go chain 1, chain 2, and you just blow up 3 cards off the field, and you get a cheat out. If you haven't used them, if you've used the negate. So, very, very strong. Very, very, very overpowered in an interaction heavy deck. So essentially, as long as you can, your whole goal is literally to sit here and bully your opponent into either quitting or just that, or you just go battle phase and, oh no, all your monsters are gaining attack. Oh well. I would actually like to know what the, like, because Nightmare Pain, because she says that you have to, that your opponent takes all the battle damage, but Nightmare Pain also says that you take all the battle damage. I think it's whichever one's on field first. So, that is awesome. All right, now let me show you this one other like big combo piece that you can really, oh, I need to show you 2 more actually. Yeah, I'll show you the one off of, if I can shuffle this fat deck here. Yeah, it's a bit hard to shuffle a 60 card deck if you can't tell. Yeah, let me real quick, I'm gonna let my dogs in. Okay, you can go in there if you want. Okay, so once again, just going to play with a loaded hand here. So I'm going to show you this one. So say, oh man, I didn't open anything strong. I didn't open my toy box or any. We'll say we opened Kashtira just so I can show you stuff. Oh no, ah shit, I didn't open any of my monster starters. Oh, thankfully I opened Witch of the White Forest and a shit ton of spells. This is going to be really good. Bait the interaction. Do the Kashtira thing. Bait the interaction. Now, once again, for the sake of this, you want to go first with this deck, so I'm going to show you some going first shit. If you're going second, the only variation is that you search your Fenrir. From here, so going first, Fenrir is going second. Summon your unicorn, boom bada bing. But oh no, oh man, I really didn't get to do anything. I'm gonna go ahead and activate Witch of the White Forest. I'm going to search a Stellar of the White Forest. She's going to be your strongest start as she plays out of draw. Well, actually, no. Oh, and once again, Salesman Cauldron. So, make sure that you're calling roll first. Normal summon a Stellar. All you need is another card. Send your Forbidden Droplet. From here, you're going to special summon out your Sylvie. Sylvie's going to get your search for White Forest. Here. If I can get the friggin' card. Except, I think I have a better... So, there we go. Then you Synchro Summon. Like I said, you can't... So you literally cannot summon any of this. Because we've activated Witch. Remember that. There was a fun little play at YCS Anaheim where somebody didn't... where somebody on the podium got caught using Witch of the White Forest, trying to summon Azaminas under Witch of the White Forest back to back, and it didn't go well for him. If you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. If you don't, you don't. Then she summons back. She's probably, yeah, she'll be important later. Then we summon Elzet, Azamina of the White Forest. I'm trying to think, because there's a way that you kind of like, you just you use this target and you make Herald, you make Arclight off of that. You make like Herald of the Arclight off of that, but I kind of want my Diabell. I can't remember how to get Diabell if I do that though. Because what you do is for your 5th summon to avoid Nibiru, one thing that you can do is you can... So you either, if you want, if you know your opponent probably is going to play Nibiru, what you do is you Witch of the White Forest, target either one of these two, turn them into a tuner, Synchro Summon Herald of the Arclight. If that's not the case, just go ahead, Synchro Summon like this. Make sure I use the right synchro material. Then you chain block again, so you go Stellar Chain 1, or Stellar. Excuse me. Elzet, chain 1, then chain 2 Diabell. Diabell is going to get back your negate. Obviously, you want to do that. Then she searches the Sinful Spoils. Now, you're going to start telling me, oh, but you can't use the other Sinful... You can't use Deception. Yeah. Think I care? Yeah, watch this. This is where you put up a Cursed Thunder God. Yeah, this is going to be really good. Watch. Wanted, chain 1. Quick effect, chain 2. And just like that, you've also just chain blocked a search. Summon, effects are negated, search, Diabell, Star of the Black Witch. So you can summon dark monsters as long as they're not in your extra deck. Get Black Witch. Alright, we on the same page? Good, good. Actually trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with her. Yeah. We're going to go Black Witch, sending... Actually, oh, hold on real quick. Because I think we could probably play into some... Oh, here. Let me correct some mistakes real quick. So summon her up there, because you don't have Azaminas, it'll be fine if you summon her there. Yeah, because I'm about to open up a bunch of space. One thing I forgot to get was Kashtira Birth. So don't forget Kashtira Birth on this one, because I think you can really make some plays off that. So Bellstar, you're going to send, summon, attempt to set a Sinful Spoils. From here, you're going to set, because you're going to get your other Sinful Spoils either way. What you're going to do is you're going to set the card that's very important, the thing, you're going to set Morian. Set Morian into the field. Remember, you're going to need that. Synchro Summon. This is where you make your level 11. You can, depending on if you're going first or second, you can either make Curse of the, either Jurashin, the Cursed Thunder God, or Dryashin, the Cursed Thunder God, or Psychic and Punisher. So, next, you flip that Tails up. Yep, because once again, we're still telling the tales of the White Forest. You got to remember that. You get Diabells. Diabells pop. Now, you may be wondering, if you don't remember, this gives you protection, so you don't want to pop it. Do that. Search Philia. I actually brought this deck to a regional. Not in this current state. It was by Then you actually do have to search. That searches her. Banish, cheat out. That leaves you with one more space on your board, so that gives you space to cheat out a monster. Then you activate Kashtira Birth just because you want it. Set. Then, and this will reset since you control a level 5 or higher illusion monster. And you also have Fuelos. I just kind of grabbed Fuelos so that way you had an extra card in hand. I don't know. How many Sinful Spoils do we have in the graveyard? Not enough for it to matter. So from here, and then of course, yeah, they all gain 500. So with this does put up a slightly weaker board, but you have Tuner Cheetah, Tuner Synchro Cheat Out. You have life point. You have life point gain plus essentially a Raigeki or Harpy's Feather Duster. Or no, you just have a Raigeki. You have a Lightning Storm of either monsters or spells and traps as long as they're face up. You have a way of siphoning through or rifling through your opponent's extra deck. You have a pop and summon. You have protection because you have 3 separate Diabolic monsters on the field. Your face downs are a negate up to the number of cards and a Book of Moon. Put those facing both way. So this is probably the best. This is the best I know how to do. I know there's some fancy way of technically you can just use some weird fancy way of getting Herald the Arclight with all this, but I am not 100% sure on how to do that. But essentially, yeah. You can also summon Psychic. You could also technically summon all this in attack position. I wouldn't recommend it. As you can still take damage. However, you got Witch of the White Forest, and you can also summon Psychic and Punisher because you're going to reduce your life points and you have attack on follow-up, but oh well. And then I was going to try and get the draw one for Toy Box as well, but I don't think we're getting that this time. We can't get that one this time because we don't have it. Oh, and if this when this leaves the field after it's reset, it banishes itself. It's required banish. So that is the entire board from there. The last one I'm going to show you is the one I've been hyping up probably the most throughout this video, is the Toy Box line. Now, the reason why I don't like the Witch line is because obviously it weakens your board a significant amount. Because whilst Jurishin or Psychic and Punisher are definitely going to be strong plays, without like your Azaminas, you really kind of weaken it and you don't get a guaranteed Omni Negate. Like I said, I don't know how to get Arclight on the field. Arclight is also like if you get hit or you know you're trying to play around Nibiru, you've got Arclight, because then that becomes your 5th summon and it can negate the Nibiru. All right, so for this hand, what do I want? What do I need first? I need a monster. I need at least one monster. Yeah. All right. So I need at least... Okay, so let's do this. We'll say Fua. Salesman, obviously. I'm also just showing you, like, optimized stuff. So, do I want to represent Kashtira on this one? Yeah, the reason why I keep, like, so I'm trying to make sure I don't add a single White Forest card to my hand. Either Diabellstar, or the only one you want is either Diabellstar or you want Wanted. We'll go Diabellstar for this one. Here we go. Call. No, because we already got Salesman. You need Toy Box for this. Then, no, for Forbidden Droplet. We're going to say we don't have Kashtira's on this one. So, once again, if you don't draw into Kashtira, they'll literally just play White Forest. That's all you have to do. Let me read Deception real quick, because it's literally just tribute a monster, right? It doesn't have to be light or dark attribute. Tribute one month. Okay. All right, let me show you this real quick. So this one is a really fun line. I like this one, especially because I've just gotten into it. You toy box to set. Set your tank. Set your soldier. Boom. All right. You've already got your start. You ready? Bellstar. Send for cost. Chain 1, chain 2. Chain 2, summon, effect. Oh wait, yeah, there's more than one way to do this. I'll show you the easiest way. So technically from here you can technically just get Sylvie. Don't use Sylvie yet. So technically you could just normal summon. Then she's gonna set a Sinful Spoils. I don't think I did this right. Either way, this is one way of doing it. So. Then set Deception. We're just gonna pretend that doesn't exist. We pop. Technically, you'd want to pop the Fua hand. Yeah, either pop the Fua in hand or do that, and then you get your Hallowed Azamina. So we're immediately going for an Azamina fusion summon. Like, right, I think I did this wrong. Either way, so if you don't, we're just gonna pretend like we didn't get our Sylvie, or we have like a Toy Soldier in hand. Either Toy Tank or Toy Soldier or something. No, because Toy Soldier would summon itself back. Set, then summon, then you get the toy box, then you do the things. But because you're required to get the toy... Oh, okay. I realize where I messed up in showing you this, but either way, it works for practice purposes. Hallowed Azamina. Yeah. The other way you play it is you just summon Sylvie and go White Force combo. From there, you summon Lago. What you add off of her does matter. I'll show you the proper card you're supposed to get really quick before you mess it up like I did. When I actually did this in a tournament under pressure. But you get Elzette Azamina of the White Forest. You reveal, then summon Elzette. Sync. Oh wait, don't reveal and summon yet. Contact Fusion, Magistus Chorizo. Summon, Synchro. If you didn't do this already, congratulations, you have full White Forest combo right here. From here, you literally just do basic White Forest stuff, except the only thing is you're gonna, like, the only thing is that you're gonna cheat out, you're probably gonna have to cheat out Sylvia off of Saints, because unless you draw into another Sinful Spoil. So yeah, that's the whole line right there. That's the whole thing, is you want to play into your like toy box and whatnot, because toy box is also more material. Oh, I guess because your toy tank could also be. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I see. But yeah, so that's White Forest, one of the most overpowered decks in history. Do note it does. Whilst I make all this look easy and I say it's really overpowered, please remember this deck requires at least a little bit of skill. Hi there. How are you? I'm gonna say I have a fuzzy friend coming to say hi. And another. What's up, little dude? Hi, Jealous. I just saw you. Did somebody else get attention and now you have to come back over here? Anyway, so that's White Forest. Hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and have a good one. Goodbye.